Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be having a chat with the Homely Effect, and they do all things interior design and vegan food. So if you're interested in either of those things, or if you're even interested in creating a blog, we speak about that in the chat as well. So if you're interested in blogs, vegan food, interior design, and starting a business in 2021, keep on watching. Whenever I finish it, I always look away. And like, is it like I'm nervous?
Is that it?
That's it. Hi guys, welcome to Kiiro. Thanks for coming, much appreciated. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. I've been following your page since it started, which was when? Because I don't remember.
End of October?
Yeah,
I mean, launched.
Yeah,
We launched on like the 8th of November.
Wow, it actually feels like it's been longer because it just feels so built up already. That's really cool.
And I think that page was open for longer as well. I think it's been open for a few years. You might have.
She's like,
just like the name just keeps changing.
We changed the name and stuff when we finally got down to doing everything. But yeah, it does feel like it's been going on for longer than November, if I'm honest.
So when did the idea to start the Homely Effect begin?
I think it stems back from the light bulb effect, so I'll let Karimah take that one.
Yeah, I'll start with the light bulb effect, then if you can go on with last year's kind of events. So basically, I think it was probably around 2014. I wanted to start a blog, and I'd always wanted to do it. I love writing and like journalism and stuff, but it was just not working out. Every time I tried to do it, I think just things would happen in life, and I just didn't have the motivation to kind of pull through and get on with it. And like, I've started so many Wix pages, I can't even tell you how many Wix trials I've had, and Squarespace as well. But yeah, it just wasn't happening really. And I think I need to kind of do this with someone if I'm going to do it properly, just because it's a lot of commitment when you're blogging to be able to post regularly. And I just thought, yeah, I need to do this with someone. So I mentioned it's
kind of like a part-time job. It's a full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you do it properly.
It should be a part-time.
We're trying to be quite strategic about it, but I mean, we could just do it kind of here, there, and everywhere, but I don't think it would be as effective. So yeah, basically I was asking around to see who else was interested in kind of doing some sort of blog. I think we even spoke at one point about featuring like your photography and stuff on there. But yeah, just everyone's busy and it just wasn't working out. So then it got to last year during lockdown and stuff, and I was like, I really want to start a hobby. Like this is prime time to kind of get on with something. I've got no excuse now. I'm not going out. It's a pandemic. So I felt like for me, there's always like I'm a bit of a what's the word? When you kind of you're supposed to be doing something and you don't do it.
Procrastinator.
That's it, procrastinate. So yeah, I'm definitely a procrastinator, and I felt like last year I had no excuse to procrastinate. So I don't know. Do you want to take it from there, Lystra? I don't know how I mentioned it to you or when.
Sure. So, like, obviously, Karimah was talking about the fact that she'd gone through a lot of processes over the years. So, all the time I'd known her, she's always talking about this blog that she was going to start. She was ready. She'd get close sometimes. I think there was one point she said she's made 1,000 Wix pages, and I was like ready for it. I was like, yeah, let's go. Watching it from the sidelines. And then same thing, like she said about pandemic, like. Especially me, I'm unemployed. Unemployment is the life for me. So boredom reached a new high. So they let us out obviously in lockdown during the summer. So I feel like I enjoyed my summer. But then obviously we were going back into lockdown. So it was like, okay, interesting. And I don't know what happened. I can't remember why I went to Karimah's house, but I went to Karimah's house just before lockdown when you were allowed to. And yeah, by the end of the night, we had a website. We had an Instagram. We had funds was going from accounts. Yeah. And I left yeah, I left co-owner of a company. So yeah,
it happens like
moved quite quickly. But yeah, Kareem had been talking about it for a while, and to be fair, same thing. I've always wanted to kind of have my own something. I don't know what it was going to be, in what form, but again, I'm quite creative. And we've always, when it came to interior design, even vegan stuff and food in general, we've always kind of bounced off each other because we always had interesting and different views and different and very similar creative outlooks and things like that. So I think it made sense in the end, surprisingly. But yeah, like I said, happened all very quickly.
Yeah, it did happen.
The Homely effect. Yeah.
And we straight away we kind of started thinking about the name, because that was a process as well, thinking about what name to choose, but it just worked out really well. Like, and I never thought it would be
very
this
quickly.
Lystra's like my sister. Like, we've known each other for a long time, but I don't know why I never thought to ask you earlier about doing it with me.
I think you mentioned it a couple of times, but like nothing had ever happened. I've just been like, oh, it looks like I'm getting on with life then. So
yeah. But I think it was good timing, definitely last year, and just having that space to just not have any external distractions, because you don't have any choice but to stay at home anyway. So yeah, that's how it started. There is the beginning of the Homely effect.
Yeah. So would you say, because of like the lockdown and not being able to do much outside or socially, that sort of pushed you to think, oh, let's just start this, so at least we have something creative to do whilst being at home?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me personally, I think the first lockdown for me was all fun and games. Like, personally, I was loving it. I felt like I had things to do, I had life to catch up on. And then when I heard I was going to the second one, I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do this way around? I was like, oh snap. And then when Karimah came out, I was like, perfect, like it's something to do, keeps you busy. Like, I spend most of my time nearly every day doing something to do with the Homely effect. And I'm just like, what would I do without it? So even though it's been great for me to put into it, it's also kind of saved me at the same time. So it's worked out perfectly.
Yeah, and I think on that as well, just with the uncertainty of last year, not just even the fact that we couldn't go outside, but just, you know, people losing their work. Like, for Lystra's work that she was doing before, she wasn't able to because of the pandemic, and I'm still working and I still have a main job, but you know, speaking to people and looking up different things and thinking about side hustles and stuff, and realizing that you can actually make a bit of money from your passion. So obviously, like, it's not our main focus and why we do it. We're not driven by, you know, the money, because it does take a while to get there. But I think that was another thing we realized, that, you know, some people had really stable jobs, and it's not so stable after all when you're in a crisis like last year with the pandemic. So to be able to do something creatively online despite what was going on, I think was a really, really good thing.
So actually, on that line, so would you both say that this is more of a hobby / creative outlet, or would you like to push it into more of like a business and see where that goes?
I think definitely the latter. I think at the beginning we thought it was just going to be a hobby, but then after doing more research and speaking to each other more, and just realizing the time that we're investing in it as well, we might as well get something out of it. So I think it is going down the business route. What would you say, Liz?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think if you're going to make content, you're going to put effort into it, you might as well monetize it. You might as well get your money from it, get what you can. And I think, especially like during the pandemic, I think a lot of things, I don't know, people thought were kind of, I don't know if you realize, but like during the pandemic, YouTubers and people that had online jobs were the people that were like, oh, pandemic, I'm fine. So I think it made sense. It made sense with everyone being at home to have an online thing that technically should never go down, because the internet should always be here, but something that's low-key permanent, and that won't affect us whether it's inside, outside. We can still create content. Technically might be a bit more difficult, but we can still do stuff, I think. So I think it made more sense. Definitely, I think this is definitely a business for us, and can't wait to see the baby grow.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think like that's the shame with a lot of creatives, is that they're so talented, but because they enjoy it so much, they don't picture it being a business. And it's like, no, like the time we're in now, we've got social media and anyone can just start a business. And that's what we've seen from last year, is that so many people who are creative have actually just thought, do you know what, let me just put it out there and see what happens. And then like businesses have just been popping up left, right and centre.
Popping up left, right. I'm like, wow,
actually
look at all
crazy.
these small business. I'm loving to see it, honestly.
Yeah,
it's great.
so good.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Clearly everyone now wants to get into their passions. I feel like, I don't know, in the system you kind of just need to do a job because you need to do a job. And I feel like it's been nice to see everyone actually do things they want to do. Even though they probably never saw it as possible. And weirdly enough, this pandemic has given them the space to. So it's definitely good to see. Love to see it.
Yeah.
I think even for myself, like I've been doing like the photography for like 2-3 years, and weirdly, like it's always been like fun for me and like a hobby, but the last year at least, or more, a little bit more, I've been seeing it as a business. But I feel like it's only been like the last few months that I've actually started trying to push it. So I feel like before it was like, yeah, this is fun, like I'm gonna make it a business, but I was too relaxed with it. Whereas now, because I've seen so many people that they're actually doing it, I'm like, oh, I can actually like properly do this. Do you know what I mean? Like I can actually like push this and people will support me. So it's a nice feeling, like seeing so many creatives just like jumping into it and doing it.
And I think as well on that point, Ree, like the thing with you and a lot of businesses that are kind of popping up at the moment is that they're being adaptable and they're moving with the times. So you could have said, oh well, you know, pandemic, like photography can't really happen anymore, we can't see people. But like you've adapted your business and like you're doing micro weddings now and just looking into different avenues, and like your YouTube channel as well, you're sharing knowledge and teaching people kind of the skills that you have and inspiring them. So I think that's another way and another good thing about last year as well, even though obviously there were a lot of bad things, is that it's forced people to kind of think outside the box a bit with their creativity and their passions, and you know, to still be able to do something creative but just in a slightly different way. So yeah, I think definitely not just from a sense of, or because it's online it's good for us, but just also doing it in a slightly different way to reach a slightly different audience, because not everyone will be getting married, but some people might like photography and they'll watch your YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's true, there's always a way. So before we get any further in, I should have asked this from the beginning actually, but who are the Homely Effects? What is it? For the people who don't know, they need to know, but for the people who don't know, let them know like what you guys do and what it's all about. Take your time.
It says it really well. On the website, she wrote this kind of little section, kind of like Millie describes us. She wrote it really well. She says it really well. So she can say that bit and then I'll say about myself.
Yeah, man, I should have that open right now. Anyway, read the About Us section of our website.
Okay.
But basically, the Homely Effect is just to do with being inspired whilst at home. So we wanted to kind of reach more than one audience, and we didn't see a lot of people that were doing both things to do with interior design and also things to do with like recipe and food. So we kind of wanted to merge our two passions together, and that's why we called it the Homely Effect, because, you know, for one, with the interior design thing and decorating, a lot of people think that you have to be owning your property, or it's only when you buy a house can you really kind of have a lovely home. And we kind of wanted to bash that and just say, well, that's not true. There are so many kind of renter-friendly tips and techniques that we wanted to share to show that you can make your rented home a lovely place. And, you know, it can be cozy, it can be snug, or maybe you're not renting, maybe you live with your parents, like, doesn't matter, wherever you are, whatever space you live in, like, you deserve to enjoy that space and for it to kind of feel like yours. And a lot of people love all these things on Instagram and they, you know, like it and they save it onto their like saving space, I know what it's called, but they never think they can have that kind of thing at home themselves. So we just wanted to show them what was possible. So that was the one side of it. But then we're just like, oh, but, you know, being at home, being in that lovely space, you want to have good food as well. And we kind of wanted to just also see a lot of myths, I'd say, and just conceptions around vegan food, and just that it doesn't taste as good, or that it's just bland, or like it can't be as exciting if you don't have a piece of meat there. And I think that's changing amongst the younger generation, you know, because you have so many like vegan restaurants and festivals and stuff. But we kind of wanted to promote recipes in that regard as well. So yeah, merging those two loves together would be the homely effect. And it's just kind of the homely effect, because hoping that, you know, that people be inspired when they kind of see our content, and then maybe they'll talk to someone else about it, and then they'll inspire someone else, and then it's kind of like an ongoing effect. So
I like it.
Look at that. Couldn't have said it better myself. There we go.
Yeah, I've really benefited from your website and your blog as well. It's been really cool because, like, I love interior design, first of all. So, like, straight away, as soon as I saw interior design in the bio, I was like, yeah. I was gonna say subscribe. I was like, but yeah, I was on that. I was like, straight away read the blog. It was so good. I particularly like the one about the feature wall. Did you call it a feature? A gallery wall? Yeah, and I can see it in the background of your place. But also,
and then a prime example.
Yeah, prime example. I'll pan it properly so everyone can see. But yeah, I really appreciate this because I got married in October. We got married in October, and it's a new place, like bare walls. So we wanted to sort of like warm it up, but I don't know how we could warm it up in a way that we're still like modern and not like tacky or anything.
It can be hard to find an in between. Yeah, it can be hard. I know what you mean though.
Yeah, because I was like, I want pictures on the wall, but I don't want it to be like cringy. So yeah, that was cool. So when you guys did that gallery wall, I was like, sick, that looks cool. Ordered all the prints and stuff, put it up on the wall, and I'm really happy with it. Like it makes the whole room just like so much better, and it actually feels like a home. So it feels very
yeah,
homely.
I can't wait to see it in person. It looks
There
really
we go,
good.
the homely effects.
Yeah, it literally feels homely, the homely effect. So
That's what I'm saying. Even when we come up with the name, it was just like it needed to translate or be, because obviously we're doing interior design and vegan food, which you could say is very different things to focus on. Therefore, we had to find a name that was kind of going to bring it all together. And the only thing we think of is the fact that it all happens in the home. It's all things that happen in a house, in a home. Therefore, bring it all together and have what we have. But yeah, me and Karimah had, like I said, these separate passions. I think we've both been kind of experimenting with veganism for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time we've both kind of been both been experienced with veganism. So it made sense to go into that because we both weren't eating particularly meat anymore. Dairy was out the way for me, and it just made sense to kind of explore it with everyone else because we haven't been vegans for years. We don't have all this knowledge about veganism, but we are learning as we go along. Before having this platform to learn with people, I just think and make it more, like Karimah said, of like debunking the myths about veganism that it has to be this weird food. Like it really doesn't have to be. I used to think as well, I was like, all vegans eat is carrots and lettuce, like rabbits. How dare they? Like and I understand that's nearly everyone's mentality. But I feel like with our platform, we can debunk all of that and let them see that you can eat very well as a vegan, maybe too well as a vegan these days. But yeah, there's options, loads.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good because I think more people, like you said, are starting to be more open to like trying new food or trying to cut down on meat. For me, I haven't really got a choice with dairy. I'm lactose intolerant, so that was me. But to be honest, like because of that, I actually started looking into it more and stuff. So that's actually been really interesting, like why my body can't digest the sugars in milk or whatever, the lactose.
So common in melanin skin. Like so many black people are lactose.
They don't even know. A lot of them don't even know.
And they don't even know. They just be having dairy like it's every day and then just taking the consequences like it's normal. And I'm just like, you lot are nuts. You lot are nuts.
But the thing is, I feel like maybe it's a generation thing as well, but I don't think there was loads of education on it because I had a lot of symptoms from when I was young and I just didn't know. Like my parents didn't say like
It's like drink some milk, you'll feel better.
Yeah, it was like nothing like that. So yeah, and it actually only got to the point where I started breaking out really badly on my skin. I got cystic acne, and it was so bad. And my mom was like, "Yeah, you're putting too much things on your face, like all these." Cause I was always doing like face masks and stuff, and she was
everything else apart from what you're putting.
She was like, "Oh, it's probably affected you." I used to drink more water and da. So like, because it got so bad, I was like, I need to do some research. It's only when I did the research I realized that it was due to the dairy. So something like too much hormones or something, and it was like affecting me and that. So literally as soon as I cut that out, it went so quick. And
It's
that
funny,
was
isn't it? No, yeah. It's you don't think about it. I think something so simple as just like a cow's milk, you should think that'll be fine. You grow up in it, it's just normal. But yeah, exactly the same. I realized I was lactose intolerant 5, 6 years ago. And life's been fine since, but you need to establish that. And then when I went over to the Caribbean a couple of years ago, I realized there were so many lactose intolerant people there. And even my nan, she's just realized she's lactose intolerant, and she's a 96-year-old woman, but she's just realized she's lactose intolerant. So it's just, dairy just really isn't what it was, I want to say. And it's just making people react.
People definitely react. And Lystra's family were quite traditional. Like I remember one of the first times that I met Lystra, I saw like milk bottles outside of her door, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
we still do it now. We order milk bottles to the house. The milk drops off every Monday in glass bottles. We have to wash them and leave them outside.
I mean, hashtag sustainability.
Oh yeah, we're living a stable life, but
yeah, no, I definitely think that. I mean, for me, I'm not lactose intolerant, but I think I dabbled in veganism because of my parents. Like one time I came home from school, my mum was like, you're not having meat in this house anymore. So I was like, oh, really? Okay. I never expected that. And yeah, so because of that, I kind of dabbled. But then when I moved out, I was just like, man's lives of man's own now. Like I'm gonna eat what I want. I'm gonna eat bacon, all this stuff. Like I'll just eat. I was doing the most, and I wasn't feeling like great from it. So I think it's really interesting with our recipes and just exploring other vegan recipes, because it does kind of cause you to, it kind of makes you think outside of the box a bit. And sometimes you get stuck in a rut and just always having chicken and rice, or just always chicken and something. And I do really like the taste of chicken, not gonna lie, but it was like always having the same sort of dinners, whereas now I kind of have to think ahead and like, okay, what am I gonna have today? And it does make it a bit more interesting, like for meal times. So
I find it easy, like quicker as well. Well, personally, like the meals I've done anyway, like it's just quicker and easier, and you're not worried about, is it cooked properly? I don't want to get food poisoning.
It's cooked properly. You don't need to check for anything. That's what I was even saying. I was like, there's actually, what's salmonella? Who
is this? Who is she? Where is she?
Yeah, where is she? She's not here. Not in my kitchen. Like it's not happening. It's funnily so much easier. Not cooking the meat life. Save time. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to act like I'm fully vegan because I'm not, but I do like the idea of it, and I was similar to you guys, like kind of been back and forth over the years, kind of like cut down on it. But I actually enjoyed it, and even like when I was living at home, like my dad was on it as well. Like he'd do like he'd call it vegan meals or like meat-free meals. So he was on it as well. So I feel like it's definitely, although like the younger generation are kind of doing it more, but I think older ones will definitely learn and like pick it up and stuff. And as long as you're open to it, like there's nothing to be scared of. It's just veg. Like you said, if anything, you should be scared of meat, like the salmon.
It's true, because even like I was talking about us being lactose intolerant, since I've gotten lactose, since I've had the allergy, I'm now allergic to meat and things like that as well, and that's why I've then in turn had to come off meat, because my stomach can't cope with it. Clearly, I don't know if I've got a weak stomach, but it's dairy, it's meat. Even fish started making me feel a bit sick until I came off it a couple months ago. So my body just has none of it. Therefore, veganism, for me personally, it was kind of by force. But it's also, I'm happier now, if that makes sense. Like if you'd asked me a year ago if I'd go vegan, I'd have been like, no. Vegetarian at the most, possibly pescatarian. Like I think I was, even though I wasn't having dairy-free things, I was having lactose-free things, which taste a lot better if you ever had the difference. Lactose-free stuff tastes normal, but dairy-free stuff is not. Therefore, I was living in the little lactose-free land, living my best life. But again, there's only so much you can do that for. And yeah, since my body deteriorated, I was like, looks like it's time to pick the vegan life up, because my body don't want to have anything else. Leaves and greens for me. But yeah.
Hello, friend.